We've talked before on this program about networking, and always comes up the similarities between building a network in business and dating. And there are some similarities there. You don't want to take the metaphor too far, but there are a lot of similarities in trying to build a relationship that's meaningful, one that's not a quote-unquote one-night stand, something that turns into a long-term, solid relationship that's based on mutual respect and understanding. And some of the strategies to do exactly that are very similar. Have you ever heard of something called business double dating? It's just one of the strategies that my guest today, Derek Coburn, has laid out for us, ways that we can make our networking more meaningful and more effective for us. So listen in for great tips on building your network on today's One Simple Thing podcast.
It's time to build a better business by building a better you. This is One Simple Thing.
Welcome back to the program. I never, ever, ever take for granted the fact that you have taken a few minutes of your day to listen to this show. I am so grateful for that. Thank you to all of you who make it a daily appointment to listen to the One Simple Thing podcast. Thank you for those of you who have left us nice comments on iTunes as well, leaving us ratings and reviews. If you'd like to do so, you can grab a link on the website. Just go to the show notes for today's show at onesimplethingonline.com, or you can just do a search for us in iTunes. If you're on your mobile app, just go to the podcast app. Then do a search, pull up One Simple Thing with the number 1. When you see the album artwork, tap on it. It will take you to our page. Right there in the middle will be a tab. I think it says review. And you can tap on that to leave your review. Would sure appreciate that. Onward with the show now. It's Derek Coburn, who has authored the Amazon best-selling book, Networking is Not Working. Stop collecting business cards and start making meaningful connections. By the way, you can pick up a copy of his book. Again, just go to the website. There's a banner ad on the right-hand side of the page at onesimplethingonline.com. Derek Coburn, again, welcome back to the One Simple Thing podcast.
I'm loving this, man.
Yeah, me too.
Excited to do it again.
There's a section in your book that's called A Shift in Mindset. And I think, throughout the last few episodes, we've been kind of, you have talked about that shift in mindset. But where does it start? Like, what's the mindset shift that has to occur for me to become an effective networker?
I think it just had, for me, it was something that maybe I was perceiving initially to be negative. It was, the sky is falling, the market's going down, everyone's freaking out about the economy, where I really had to say, like, okay, I'm supposed to go to this other networking event tonight, like I have been for the past couple of years. I don't really think I can go. I'm so busy, doing things to reassure my clients that they're okay. And, I think that in order for someone to shift their mindset, they have to acknowledge or at least understand that the way they're currently doing it isn't making any sense. So I mentioned that I built my business up initially by being pretty good at cold calling. And the thing about cold calling is, even when you're good at it, it's still not fun. It's still not enjoyable. You want to get away from that as quickly as possible, because no one likes having the phone slammed down in their ear. No one likes being stood up for meetings that were scheduled because a person just wanted to get you off the phone. So, it was great for me when I, quote unquote, graduated from cold calling to networking events. But the thing with networking events is that we can go to 1 a week, 2 a week, for several years. And because we don't have to deal with rejection, we're not going to have very many people at networking events say, like, I don't want to talk to you, get away. You're going to have nice conversations with nice people, and sure, you're going to meet some folks who are annoying, but it's never going to be as bad as cold calling is, to where you say, like, gosh, I can't stand doing this. How can I stop doing it as quickly as possible? And so for a lot of people, I think it's hard for them to get to a place where they say, this is a total waste of my time. And hopefully, with some of the things that we've talked about, it'll introduce maybe some things that they hadn't thought about before, that, hey, it's okay, you don't like these networking events, and you really shouldn't even try to get better at going to them. You should just try to use your time more effectively by doing things that are in a completely different direction.
Yeah, I think that's been the mindset shift for me, and I know we talked about it at some point here over the last few episodes that, instead of just chasing the new clients all the time, there's so much untilled ground and so much untapped potential in the people that are already my clients that it may be a much better use of my time. And the irony is that by investing in my existing clients, it might be a more effective strategy at getting new clients, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, again, it's that convergence of, merging client appreciation with networking, because and as I've mentioned before, that if you do this the right way, it's still very much worth your time and very beneficial. That if you just keep existing clients, even, if you make them even happier, it increases the likelihood that they're going to keep paying you, that they're going to stay clients of yours. So having that as a focus in doing all this is great, but then it also, by not being sold, by knowing that they can invite people to come to these things just as a way to enjoy themselves and spend time together, you're going to meet a lot more people that you wouldn't have met otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. So we talked about this, I think, last time too, is that, getting away from this what's in it for me mentality, which may or may not be totally possible. I'm not convinced it's totally possible for me to ever kind of totally get away from the what's in it for me mentality, but maybe more creating a win-win, right? But we have to give our clients, those people so we're investing in their lives, but we have to make it easier for them to invest back in our lives too.
Yeah, exactly. And, we talked a little bit about, some of the things that can be done with triggering ongoing reciprocation. And it could just be, creating an email for them. So when we launched Cadre about a year to a year and a half in, we had people were really liking it. And we had a lot of people telling us, I have this person in mind, or this person will make a great member, and we would say, great, like, let us know what we can do. Let us know how we can have a conversation with them. But what we did, I'd done this with my wealth management business for years, but for some reason I didn't do it immediately with Cadre. So we created an email and we said, look, we're going to host an event coming up in August, and we're going to have a really good speaker, and we want you to be able to bring guests who are prospective members. We created an email template that they could use to, it was a combination of inviting them to come to this event, but also an opportunity to learn more about Cadre. And, we received over I think it was over 60 referrals in that particular month, and over 20 ended up joining and becoming new members. And we'd only received a handful, single digits in the months leading up to that. And, those, our members in this scenario, our members did not like us more in August than they did in June or July. It's just that we took the legwork out of it for them. We made it really easy them. They wanted to help us. We made it really easy for them to be able to reach out to the folks that they wanted to introduce us to. And just removing that step, led to that significant boost in introductions.
Just a personal example that shows me that that's true is over the course of this podcast, when people are gracious enough to come on the show and share their wisdom and information with us, oftentimes after they're on the show, I'll spend a good bit of time retweeting their tweets or sharing an article that they posted on Facebook and or whatever, just recommending them to my audience or my community or my tribe as well. And then eventually, here a few months ago, I had a blog post that I felt like was particularly important for people to read, or I wanted to get out to the biggest audience because I felt like it could make an impact. And so I just simply wrote a little email to everybody who had been on my podcast before. And I said, hey, I've got this blog post. I've never really asked for this before, but I'm wondering if you'd be willing to share this with your audience. And I provided them with a brief template, just kind of a pre-written tweet and a pre-written Facebook post. And they were more than happy just to copy and paste that into their Facebook or their Twitter or whatever. And it generated probably, 3 or 4 times as many views, maybe more, maybe 10 times as many views as any of my other blog posts had ever received. So there's that making it easy for people who want to help you to be able to help you.
Yep. That's great.
Do you have any other strategies that we could talk about here briefly as we head towards the end of this episode for how we can make it easier for those people that we've invested in and then to invest back in us?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about certain types of events, but there may be there will oftentimes be clients of yours who will say, "Oh, I've got this person that I know you guys would hit it off. I know that they would like you." And too many businesses, from what I can tell, they don't have anything in between step A, which is getting introduced via email, making a connection, and then step B, which would be you. And the next thing for us to do is for you to come into my office so I can give you a rundown of my services and my firm and what we're about. That's a hard introduction to make. And so having different types of events around your clients' interests and what they're into, if I waited around for my clients to make these introductions for people they thought would be a good fit for my business, and I didn't give them anything to work with except just connect us, and then I'll call them up and see if we can have a meeting, I would get very few introductions. I'd be waiting around for a while. But the more that I can create opportunities to do things with my clients and allow them to bring us together in a non-business setting or in an environment where we can get to know each other and develop a relationship, that will make it more likely that they'd be interested in getting to know more about you and your business and your offerings, then I think that's where a lot of the secret sauce lies. So, one thing that I call it like double dating, professionally speaking, where we all have strategic partners. We all have professionals who are very complementary to what we do. We have similar clients. We are in a similar market, and I may think that the CEO of an IT company of one of my clients is better than the IT company that another one of my clients or connections is using. But for me to say, hey, you should switch, or hey, I want to meet you. I want to introduce you to this person, when they're perfectly happy the way they are, like, I'm probably not going to create a lot of value for them in that scenario. But what I can do is I can say to the CEO of this IT company, look, I've got tickets to this event, or I've got a golf foursome coming up. That guy that I've always wanted to introduce you to, but there's never been the right time to do it, I'm going to invite him. And maybe you can invite someone that, they're not necessarily looking to make any changes to what they're doing, but it could potentially be like an ideal client for me. And worst case scenario, we're doing something really cool for our existing clients, but we're also leveraging this as a way to introduce people to one another that it might not have been appropriate to do it more directly at that time.
I keep saying the word. That's just brilliant. It is. You're offering people here some great strategies that most of us probably have never thought of. And I know
that's great.
Just from going through your book, I know there are other strategies that you recommend. We're just kind of scratching the surface of and there are several questions I had here that we never even got to. So I would highly recommend folks pick up a copy of your book. We're going to tell you how to do that in just a moment. But Derek, I just can't thank you enough for sharing your wisdom and being here on the One Simple Thing podcast.
Well, this was a lot of fun, Dave. Again, I appreciate the opportunity and hope it was valuable for your community.
Absolutely was. And maybe next time I'm in DC, we can connect, and maybe I can introduce you to somebody.
That'd be fun. Okay. Likewise.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Dave.
Tell you what, I've thoroughly enjoyed talking to Derek over these last several episodes. If today's the first one you've heard, go back and listen to them, because I promise you'll get some really valuable tips. Networking does not have to be scary. It doesn't mean going to a Chamber of Commerce meeting somewhere, standing in the corner while everybody else looks like they're having a good time and having it be completely worthless to you. It doesn't have to be like that. You can invest in clients you already have and grow a network that is more effective, more solid, and has more meaning for both your clients and you than anything you could develop at one of those networking meetings. So, man, this is good stuff. Again, go back and listen to the previous episodes. If you want to do so, you can find them all on our website. Just go to onesimplething.online.com. And you can find all those episodes 311 through today's 314, of course. So thank you for listening. If you want to pick up Derek's book, again, the banner ad on the website, onesimplething.online.com. Just look on the right-hand side of the page, and you'll see the banner ad there for Derek's book. I'm Dave Kirby. Thank you for being here. We'll be talking networking again next time here on the One Simple Thing podcast.